Hey guys, what's up? I'm Tay.
And I'm Kay.
And as you guys always know, Elegantly Melanated is always one of our sponsors, but in today's episode, we have a new sponsor.
Yes, that's right. But now we have a new sponsor, Anchor.
Yes, so Anchor is a free website that's great for podcasters to use because it has tools created to help you record or edit from your computer or your phone.
Anchor is also a perfect tool to use for a new or experienced podcaster. It will distribute your podcast for you to many platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Plus, you can make money without having a certain amount of listeners.
Exactly, which means if you only have one listener, you can still make money. So no matter where you are in your podcast journey, Anchor is always there to help. And we want to thank Anchor for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank you. What's up, everybody? I'm Kay.
And I'm Tay.
And welcome to our podcast. Today's topic, we are talking about reality versus social media.
Yes.
I believe I started last time. So you going first or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Well, since I'm going first, I want to touch on the topic of life expectations that we hold ourselves up to because we see other people doing it on social media. So it's a lot of people that live lifestyles on social media that they really don't live in real life. And us being consumers of their fictional lifestyle, we try and do that within a short minimum amount of time. And it's unrealistic. And people have to understand now that, hey, my time will come when I'm able to live a lifestyle like that. And the people pretending to live a lifestyle like that, they running their shit. And when it's time to show and tell, like, hey, look at this big ass chain that I got on. Yeah, this shit is fake. Yeah, that Lamborghini truck I'm pushing, yeah, that bitch is rented. The mansion that I just had, yeah, that was rented too. Airbnb. And it's like a whole different lifestyle once that camera goes off. Half of these people are depressed.
Yeah.
And they're searching for validation. And it's sad that we live in a world where we need a stranger's validation to make our life so much better. Like, I don't see how people do that. Because myself, I'm a little bit of a private person. Like, if you ask, I'll tell. But I'm not just gonna put my business out there for the world to see. But I've chosen a profession that requires me to do such. But Beyonce does a really good fucking job about keeping her life private. Like, she gives us what she wants us to know. For the longest, did nobody know Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce? Nobody knew that shit until she released that shit into her music. She gave us that. Cause I guess that was just like I'm just gonna let this shit go. People need to know, like they need to know it. Like that's how I feel like social media should be. If the shit is not, helping somebody else, like, okay, well, I went through this, I'm gonna share this information so the next little boy or the next little girl don't have to go through the shit that I went through. Like, I'm gonna share my knowledge. That's how I pictured social media to be. That's how I want my social media platforms to look. But not everybody's is like that. It's just like I'm flexing on all you motherfuckers. Like, it's just that. It's a pissing contest.
I agree with that. I definitely do think that social media is. I feel like it has its good, it has its cons, but it also has its pros, especially because, like you said, it's a lot of people out here who are portraying on social media that they're living this lavish lifestyle. They got this, and that. But it's this one dude who I be seeing on TikTok, and sometimes Instagram. I don't remember his name for the life of me, but he's a black dude, and he goes around, like sometimes in Vegas or wherever he's at, and he stops people who you see these people with these gold chains on and diamonds all on them, and they stunting, they're making it look like they got all this money, and then he has this little reader that'll tell if your diamond is fake or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how many people got on these big ass chains and shit, look like they got it and spent some bread on it, and they'll claim that until he pulls out that thing and he presses it, and that shit is not real, right?
Constantly.
And I feel like social media is like that too. Like you said, it's a lot of people who portray their lifestyles as there's some type of doing what they're supposed to be doing in the world or whatever, but behind closed doors, you don't know what that person's going through. And
Right.
also, I do agree with you. I feel like I know I'm not on social media as much, but that's because I don't want to. First and foremost, I'm like you. I'm a private person. I don't like to post all my stuff, on social media. When it comes to certain things, like I don't post. I may post about, certain things, but I'm not gonna post that thing. Like I may post about my wife, but unless it's like something special, I'm not gonna always post my wife because that's my wife. I don't want y'all to be knowing, all up in my business. That's my personal life. You know what I
Right.
mean? Same thing with like family and friends. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's certain things that you should post and that you shouldn't post. And a lot of people don't know that. And also going into social media versus the real world, I think it's important for people to understand that there is a difference
Right.
because you have people from all walks of life. I'm going to use this example because I feel like with social media, it's one that it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to people who are struggling with weight, you know what I mean? You have people who are on social media who are like this big and, doing what they want to do and all this and that. But then you have somebody who may not be that big, be that small, who may be struggling with their weight. And
Right.
because social media praises, I mean, it's gotten better throughout the years. Like you may see some plus size models and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
because social media praises a certain type of person and a certain figure and what a woman should look like or what a man should look like,
Right.
there's not everybody who looks like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how does that make that person feel if they don't look like that, but that's what's being praised? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people out here who, either if they're plus size or, they may not have that much money, who are on social media and who have all these followers and stuff and who's using their platform for to bring awareness to that and to help people out who are like them. Even uh, there's platforms that I follow or people I follow on social media who, have some type of connection to disabilities. Like I follow this one lady on Instagram and she posts a lot about one of her daughters who has autism, like stuff like that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
eventually that's how I want my platform to be too. I want to be able to help people with what I do. I feel like I haven't done it yet because I feel like I'm not where I want to be at yet to be able to do that. Um, but I just think that's how social media should be. Like, of course, you post what you want to post. It's your
Right.
social media account, and can't nobody tell you what to and what not to post unless you have a manager or whatever.
Right.
But I do think that if you're in this category of people who have all these followers, you should use your platform for good.
Right.
Don't continue to be that person who continues to praise, or go along with these things that are hurting millions of people when you
Mm-hmm.
can bring awareness to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel. I've always felt like social media was an iffy thing, and I feel like it will always be an iffy thing.
I, something that really dislike seeing, but sometimes it's a good thing. I don't like when people walk up to homeless people and they have to document them helping somebody. Like I never understood that. It's like you're going to help them or you're not.
Right.
Like okay, now I understand if you're trying to you like it's like sometimes it's like okay, you doing this because you want you're taking lead.
Hmm.
I understand that. But it's a lot of people that do it for all the wrong reasons. You just recording this shit just to do it.
And a lot
When
of those people you'll catch are young people
exactly.
who
And
are.
it's like half of these people, you can do way more. You
Hmm.
have the platform, you have the money, you can do way more. You just walking around, just handing out like chump change.
Yeah.
Shit that's chump change to you. You handing it out to somebody that really needs it. And then you putting a camera on their face. Like, how do you know this shit is not, it's already hard for them?
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, here you go. Here you go.
yeah.
I'm gonna show the world that I'm helping you. Like, you don't have to do that.
And you'd be surprised how many homeless people out here who actually have common sense
Right.
and know what's going on in the world. Just because somebody is homeless doesn't mean that they're stupid or not aware of their surroundings. And I do agree with you. I don't like that shit either. I never understood I'm not a photogenic person myself. I don't go around taking pictures of myself or whatever. So I never understood why it was so important for people to share everything about their life with the world, especially that. There's been many a times where if I have a little extra change, yeah, I'll go get something, whatever, to help out somebody on the street. But I'm not gonna feel like I gotta post it or be all up in their face because first of all, that's invading their privacy. They're still human.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I just feel like there what's the you I feel like when people do that and I'm not trying to offend anybody or whatever, but I feel like when you do things like that, you're looking for attention. You're not
Right.
doing it. You're not doing it with the intention of I want to help this person out. You're doing it
Right.
for attention. Now, agreed, there are some people out there who are doing it for awareness. Again, I'm gonna say I follow this one lady on Instagram. I think me and you talked about this one time.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I forgot what her name is. I think it's Beauty to the Streets or something like that. A
Mhm.
older black lady, who does have a social media platform on Instagram and stuff. That shows when she does go and hand out, stuff to the homeless people, but she's doing it to bring awareness. And
Exactly.
I honestly feel like that. She'll show her with a big ass box of shit, food or whatever, handing it out to the people coming to her car, and she's doing this on her own time. She's getting profits for it, I think, but that's all going into they're like donations. That's
Hmm.
going into the stuff that she's giving these people back. You know what I mean? And whatever she doesn't have, she said it before, it's coming out her own pocket. Now, if you're
Right.
gonna do something like that, do it like that. It's how I feel. Do it to where you're bringing, because how she's doing it, I feel like she's bringing awareness to it. Like like you can take spare time, or you can do this and that to help out people who are in need. That's like some people out here, again, I follow some people, I see some people who record it, but there's a lot of homeless women out here. Women
Hmm.
still have all types of stuff going on. They have periods and everything else, and they make little packs for them and give them out. Yes, they record it, but I feel like it's bringing awareness to it because they're showing them make the packs. They say all the proceeds are going to the stuff that's going in these packs and they're handing it out. So if you're gonna
Hmm.
do something like that, do it like that towards bringing awareness. Don't do it because you want attention and more followers, because
Exactly.
that's not benefiting anybody really but you. And another thing too with social media is that social media, I feel like, has allowed people to make money off of it and not have to work a job.
Right.
And a lot of the people, who are younger than us, I feel like
Hmm.
that's not even just younger than us, maybe it's people who are older than us too. I feel like that's how they're living their lives now. That's their job, which is nothing wrong with that. If it's helping you do what you need to do, then you do that.
Right.
But for the younger people, especially people who come from upper class, let's say, right?
Hmm.
Uh, they've probably never worked a 9 to 5 job in their life. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't know what it's like to struggle. They don't know what it's like to go through some things that you and I probably have been through. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so then they get on social media and get all these followers because they're this or they're this person or they've done that, which is just making them more money because you gotta think there comes sponsorships, there's come deals, there comes all types of stuff, and they're getting money from that.
Hmm.
So again, I feel like it has its pros and its cons. If that's where you're gonna make money, then if you're treating it like a job and you're doing what you need to do with that money, then all
Hmm.
props to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're just doing it to get the attention and to just say what it like fuck it or whatever,
Mhm.
then you got to rethink about the decisions that you're making in your life. I feel like
Right.
I wouldn't use social media as a full-time job. I wouldn't be satisfied with that because what if you lose followers? What if you
Right.
lose views? What if you lose sponsorships? Then what? Then you don't have no money to back you up. You know what I mean? And I feel like social media isn't or shouldn't be a secure job for some people. No, go out in the real world, and find something that's going to benefit that you can do to where you can have money on the side. Or if you're going to use social media, start a business or do something besides
Mhm.
just living off of social media.
Right. That I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Um, Glozell.
Hmm.
Glozell was popular back in the day, and her story of coming back into doing YouTube and stuff like that. She she lost everything. Like her views started going down and all this other stuff, and she she was lost, you know, and she she said that she wasn't doing good with her money. She didn't know, she wasn't handling it right and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people aren't ready for what social media brings, because it's a certain lifestyle that you have to live when you get that kind of popularity. Like
Hmm.
when people start praising you, you have to live up to a certain standard. And a lot of people aren't mentally fit for that kind of praise. Like you get people that get really sad, or you get people that get really big headed. And then shit start getting dangerous when you get big headed. Shit, it
Hmm.
start getting sad, even when you get depressed. Because now it's like, damn, I got to live up to their expectations, and I don't think I can do that. Then that turns into drug addictions and hell, whatever else that turns into. And then you got people that get big headed and they start unnecessary beefs.
Hmm.
You get into it, and this is another thing: social media thugs. Hard on social media, but wouldn't bust a grape in a motherfucking fruit fight. Get in person, and you get beat the fuck up, or you get shot. Cause there's people out here that's on social media that's really about that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, like when I see you, it's on site. You see them and you just standing there with your hands in your pocket and they fire your shit up. What happened to that on site shit?
Yeah.
Be careful how you portray yourself.
Yeah, you that's another thing too. You're exactly right. When you put yourself out there on social media, you're putting yourself out there as one thing, but are you really like that? It's crazy how you have a lot of examples that you can use, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one girl who just an ordinary girl, you know what I mean? Follows me on Instagram, I follow her back. She does nails and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
She posted about one time how she started having beef with some well-known person. I wouldn't say like a A-list celebrity, but if I could remember the name, I would tell you, right? But very well-known person, right? Like had the verified check mark and everything. So this person was
Mm-hmm.
doing good for themselves. They're verified. I guess the person got their nails done by the girl, or whatever, but it was like unnecessary beef she was starting with this person. Then and she's posting the screenshots of the conversation that they're having, and the person who she did the nails was pretty much like on site type thing, and the girl went, right, posted the video, got her ass beat. Now you was talking, now you was talking all this shit, um, to this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever the fuck happened. I can't remember what happened with the girl's nails or whatever, but whatever happened. But you're talking all this shit. Now the person tell you to meet her because it's gonna be on site, and then you get your ass beat. Now you was talking all that shit over social media, acting like you was hard and stuff. But then when
Right.
you got in front of that person's face, what happened?
I ain't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. And that's
Sure.
how you be getting yourself in trouble. First and foremost, another thing too, I feel like people start unnecessary beefs just to get more followers. Because then you
Mm-hmm.
start unnecessary beef. Say if one of us started some this unnecessary beef with Cardi B or something, then we end up on the shade room. Now you got more followers. People want to see who the fuck this person is that's going up back and forth with Cardi B, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got more followers, but now you're just sitting on that. And what you gonna do with them followers?
Shit.
You just gonna keep to continue to have beef with Cardi B? No, Cardi B got other shit to worry about in her goddamn life.
Right.
So it's like I feel like people do when it comes to social media, it's like you get your little 15 minutes of fame, You're lucky if you continue on with it, but at some point it's gonna die down. And I'm glad you said Glozell because she was very popular, right? And there are a lot of YouTube stars or social media stars or influencers who were very popular at one time and then it kind of just faded away.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was thinking about that, like, damn, you used to see Glozell videos popping up every time you went on YouTube. Now you don't
Right.
see shit.
Right.
Like, what happened? You know what I mean? That's another thing. People. That's why I said people aren't who, you know, are at a certain class and didn't have to work a 9 to 5 job or didn't have parents who were on them about doing something with their life. And then they
Right.
went to social media and used that as a job. When that shit starts to fail, because it is, because we also have to be realistic about social media as far as certain age groups
Mm-hmm.
are only going to get certain amount of views,
Right.
right? Like if you're young, young, you're gonna get probably more views than Glozell or somebody who was popular and then died down, and then here's all these new YouTubers coming in. So then you're just going down and down and down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking not make as much money. You're not
Right.
gonna be able to pay your bills. Half these people who be getting all this money probably be going out and buying the most expensive car and shit instead of doing something with the money like saving it or investing it. And I get, wait, some of us all have. Every once in a while, you come across a bad spending habit,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
some of us don't know how to save all the time, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them. Okay, I had to ask my wife to help me after so many times of me telling her no. Okay, I get it. It's hard sometimes when you see you have money, you be like, damn, I want to spend it on this, and that. And my problem is food. Okay, and I ain't no social media star, so I don't be having money on money to just go be buying food like that,
Right.
right? But I have a job,
Right.
so I have some type of income coming in. It may not be as much as somebody who has a million plus followers,
Right.
but when they lose those million plus followers, what are they going to do then?
That's factual.
And I feel like when people become social media stars or start making money off of social media, some, I'm not going to say all, but I do feel like there's some who lose their goals or what they really wanted to do. You know what I
Fact.
mean? I, everybody has goals of what they want to do. I don't think that anybody has a goal of being a social media star. It just kind of just happens, right? I feel like. But when you start making money off of it, like consistent money coming in,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you lose sight of what you were trying to get to. I
Mm-hmm.
can never be a social media star and lose sight of me trying to get to the Air Force or whatever. Bottom line is whatever you had planned up is probably going to be more successful for you than relying off of social media.
Right.
I wouldn't drop the Air Force to be a social media star.
Right.
I wouldn't drop a good paying job to be a social media star.
Right.
I would probably try to do both,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't drop. That's like you starting a job that's paying you $15 an hour full time
Right.
to go to a job that's paying you $9 an hour part time. Why would you do that?
And have and those paychecks, like when you're doing social media, those half of those ain't even guaranteed. And for you to really start making money, you have to make a certain amount of views, get a certain amount of likes. Like that shit really counts. And like you said, once that shit drop, like what are you gonna do?
And half that shit I feel like comes from sponsorships and deals with people. But what happens if, say, if you land a deal with, I don't know, Nike, right? What
Mhm.
happens if you don't promote Nike like you're supposed to, or you don't sponsor Nike like you're supposed to? Nike's gonna drop you. Why would
Right.
they keep you on when they got somebody over here doing what was in that contract? And that's with any sponsorship or any deal, especially with social media. I feel like the majority of the money that you're going to make is coming from you promoting something for somebody else.
Right.
If you don't do that, you think you're going to get paid for that shit? No.
Exactly.
then some people gotta find some content or something to post about or something to keep their followers. But that shit only is gonna last for social media fame. I feel like it's only gonna last for a certain amount of time.
Now that you say that, yes, I do. I feel like social media is low key fading out. I feel like life is getting ready to take that turn. Like we going back to how it was before. But like social media is still going to be a thing, but it's not going to be as big because we have stuff that's coming back from like the 80s and the 90s. Like it's coming back. And social media is not how social media was when we were in high school. Like it's just not, oh, snap a picture and then it gets a shit ton of likes. No, social media is now, this is business. Like this is a business. If you're not putting money behind this post, it's not doing good.
Right.
If like it's a whole bunch of shit that just it's gonna change. Like it's going, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a lot less of social media stars because not everybody is gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, and I agree. There is a lot of stuff coming back from, the 90s, the 80s and stuff, and that goes into that too. If you were born in the 2000s, what are you really going to know about stuff from the 90s or the 80s or so on and so forth when it comes back? You know what I mean? Like, what, you're not going to know that much about it. But then again, that goes into certain age groups are going to get certain views or certain this or that. So it's like you're right, social media is a business, and it's not the same as it was when we were in high school or middle school. You know what I mean? It's not the same. I feel like
Right.
social media was initially created to, okay, like say for example Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Facebook is one of those things where, you go on Facebook and you find people, you add your family and friends, and then you may find somebody from high school who you haven't talked to in a while, or middle school or whatever, like a form of communication.
Right.
And the rest of them may be like that. But I feel like at some point it is going to start dying down. Is it going to go away? No. But it's gonna start dying down, especially because it seems like they're all merging into one. You got Facebook having the same features as probably Instagram or Snap. Hell, now Facebook and Instagram are connected. You can have your Facebook Messenger in your Instagram DMs.
Right. But Instagram is trying to take over everything. Shit, Instagram put Snapchat out of business and they trying to do the same thing to damn TikTok.
Right. And don't nobody really fuck with Twitter no more, for real.
Because shit, Twitter is hard. Shit, it takes a master to get Twitter.
Twitter. What else was it? What the fuck else was that?
MySpace.
Okay, well, MySpace is one. What was
MySpace.
Tumblr? Uh,
Tumblr.
like those, like even the messaging platforms like Kick, Uvu, AIM, like
Yeah.
that none of this stuff is even here anymore. You know what I mean? It's, and the social media platforms that are out now that are still here, they're merging together. So at some point, there may not even be any more Facebook. It may be called something else. Or there may not be Snapchat. Hell, Snapchat and Instagram may combine together to become one company. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's definitely changing. But I don't think that it's gonna be as big as it was, especially with this whole COVID and everything else like that. I feel like times are really changing now. Social media is included in that.
So exactly, cause shit, when okay, for example, when the world was shut down, people was trying to figure out what they gonna do to survive, and a lot of these people are social media influencers. Half of them went broke trying to survive. Them sponsorships, like okay, well, I mean, some of them they did well. So a lot of them probably made more money with the pandemic because like hey, I gotta sit in the house, I gotta record all of this shit, I gotta post and promote. Like they was probably on it because they didn't have nothing else to do. But a lot of them is like, oh shit, I'm losing followers because my content is as good as it was when I was posting outside. I'm running out of ideas, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that. I don't have a 9 to 5. My bank account running low. Like it's a bunch of shit that plays into it. And it's a lot of people don't realize that. And we're just looking when we're on social media, we're just looking like, God damn, I bet you they living a life.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them really not.
And that's definitely the difference between social media and the real world. Hell, even these well-known celebrities, like they're getting paid to do what they do pretty much. That's a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think if the world is shut down that Beyonce and them can still do all these concerts and shit
Right.
and be able to and to confidently know that you're going to sell out places like you were before. Not with
Right.
this pandemic. No. Even with the vaccines coming out and people social distancing and stuff, COVID is still very real. It's a lot of people out here who are still very scared of COVID, who are still dying from COVID. So do
Mm-hmm.
you think that a social media star hosting a party or something, or a celebrity trying to have a concert, is going to make the amount of money that they're making before COVID hit? Hell no. And that's the real world, because on social media, you're going to think that everything is fine with that person, right? They're still going to post pictures of themselves or whatever, but in the real world, hell, they're probably doing way worse than you.
And it's a lot of these influencers that steer people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like people that don't, and okay, I don't know how to word this without sounding judgmental, but I'm gonna sound judgmental as fuck. And at this point, I don't care. If you don't have the knowledge on a certain topic, don't fucking speak on it. Because you have people that are following you that really look up to you, dumbass, and you steer them wrong, and they think that your actions or your thought process is valid.
Mm-hmm.
When in the real world, you get out there and you do certain shit or you say certain shit and it gets you hurt. Because shit, okay, let me see. For example, let's say Tiger is promoting some doing stupid shit. And it's a little boy out there that's looking up to Tiger. This baby don't know no better. And well, and a lot of people say, oh, well, that's the parent. That's the parent. A lot of kids don't have parents. You have kids that look up to these influencers, and half of these influencers don't have or had the correct guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like they're living their life the way that they want to live their life, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But like I've been trying to say, when you have this kind of audience, there's certain things that you have to watch and say. Like, you have to watch what you say, you have to watch what you do, because people are looking up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, be brutally honest with that shit. I mean, you don't have to tell all your business, but do tell the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Do tell them, like, hey, if you're gonna do this, be smart. You got to do X, Y, and Z. Don't you don't do this. Do this. Walk them through it,
Yeah.
so they know, like, okay, damn, this shit ain't as easy as it looks. I didn't know that you had to go through all of that to do this. I just thought you just jumped on the scene and bam, here you go.
Especially when it comes to younger people, they
Mm-hmm.
are very, easily, I want to say manipulated, but I'm going to say manipulated.
Very.
Um, I'm gonna. It's this one YouTuber who, I don't want to say her name, but her name is Breland, right? What was her YouTube thing was Glitter Forever 17 or something, right? And she used to be one of those YouTube people who used to like do the DIY EOS lip balms and stuff like that. And the time that she was doing it, it was very popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then shit got real. Now she does OnlyFans.
Ain't
And
nothing wrong with OnlyFans.
huh?
I said ain't nothing wrong with a little
No, there's
Only.
nothing wrong with OnlyFans, but the thing is, she went. That's like with these people who, it's just how people portray themselves, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
also how whatever you're doing is portraying you as well. That's
Mhm.
like, let's move on from Breland, but similar situation. But that's like with these Disney stars, right? On these platforms and on these social media platforms and television platforms, when they're with Disney, they make them look like they're the best thing ever, right? Let's say, for example, Miley Cyrus. When she was Hannah Montana, everybody, imagine how many little girls want to be like Hannah Montana, right? Then
Right.
she became Miley Cyrus. Then she became her real self. She started living her life how she wanted to, and that became a problem with everybody. Why? Because on social media and on TV platforms, she was portraying herself as one thing, which, in so many words, you're faking it. You're faking it till you make it, right?
Right.
And then now that she became who she really wants to be, she was wilding the hell out,
Mhm.
right? So that too, I agree with you in that too. In so many words to say, if you have a big fan base, and a lot of the times it's going to be younger people or younger audience from you, because that's
Right.
what's on social media the most. It's younger people or younger audience. You got to be careful with what you do. You can live your life. Everybody's going to live their life differently, right? Can't nobody tell you how to live your life, but you need to take the precautions to understand, especially if you know you have younger followers
Right.
still following you. I said something about Breland because she still has a fan base of a younger audience than her age.
Mhm.
And so, yes, there's nothing wrong with doing OnlyFans if you're, an adult and you need to do what you got to do to survive. That's like I say the same thing about strippers or prostitutes. You know what I mean? They trying to survive like everybody else, right?
Right.
But when you have a younger audience and you go from making these little DIY stuff to going on to Twitter and OnlyFans and saying the most gruesomest shit ever and fucking doing the most wildest shit ever while still knowing that you have this young fan base. And then for you to say that you don't care, which I get it, you're not making content for that fan base anymore. But you kind of, I feel like when you're on social media and you push stuff out there, you kind of got to be careful with what you do, no matter where you get at in your
Mhm.
career. If you go from this one person to this one person, you still have to be careful. Okay.
Mhm.
Because people are crazy as hell, right? And who's to say somebody's not gonna go find Breland for talking about getting her little cooter catter ate upside down hanging from a tree or whatever. And now Sarah's little daughter, little 10-year-old daughter, wants to go get her little cooter catter ate upside down the tree from Tommy down the street. Okay? So like, but, but that's because, you know what? I feel like I'm saying all of this and nobody probably gonna understand what I'm saying if they're not really listening. But in so many words, just to say, you have to be social media. You have to be careful with what you do,
Mhm.
especially if you have a big following audience,
I
because
want to.
it's always gonna be a younger audience regardless. Hell, even with these, when I upload these podcasts on YouTube, I click that it's explicit words because we cuss a lot, and no, it's not made for kids. But do you think that's gonna stop kids from seeing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I want to swing it back to how you were talking about, the beauty and how social media changed that. I was just sitting here thinking, like, women that I found attractive back then, like Nia Long and Holly Berry and Gabrielle Union, Aaliyah, hell, Beyonce. Like, it's so many women that were like, their beauty was natural.
mm-hmm,
Like, social media has made it to where plastic surgeries are okay.
mm-hmm,
I don't feel like women really need plastic surgery. I mean, it's okay. Like, go and do what you want to do with your body. Like, if you're not happy with your titties, go fix them, baby. If you're not happy with your ass, go and buy you one. But at the same time, these social media people, they not really telling you what the side effects are. And for example, let me tell you, K Michelle, I love K Michelle because she has been brutally honest through her whole life experience with the whole process with her butt. She like, yeah, I got some shit done to my booty and the shit almost killed me. I'm trying to help. I'm using my platform to help women that are going through the same thing. Like, that shit right there, that's
yeah.
beautiful as fuck.
Kim
Like, that's
Michelle,
how she need
Kim,
that.
Kim Michelle's one person who did it, but I do agree with you in the sense that when it comes to beauty standards and you have something done, that you should talk about it, right? And
Mhm.
I get it, especially if you've had it for years now, you don't think about it so much. But when something's happening, I do think that you need to bring words to it. So K Michelle did it. There's also another lady on YouTube. She's YouTube famous. Her name is Time the Infamous, I think.
Mhm.
She had her breast done, right? For a while, but then she started having complications with it. But the thing is, instead of keeping it to herself, she made videos about it, about her journey, about what was happening. Another person who did it, who's on TV. I don't know if you or anybody listening watches Black Ink Crew,
Yeah.
but Young Bae, the Korean artist on there, she had her
Yeah.
titties done. I didn't know that, right?
Hmm.
But it was an episode recently where, like everybody was coming back from the pandemic. It was a new season that started and she wasn't there. Everybody was wondering where she was at. Well, she stated and she posted on her Instagram that she was having complications with her breast implants and that she got them removed. But bringing awareness to it. Now, that's bringing awareness to it on a different level. And so many people have, on TV and stuff. But,
Mhm.
I feel like when it comes, especially when it comes to certain races, right?
Right.
I can only speak on the race that I am, right?
Right.
But when it comes to beauty, social media, and Black women,
Mhm. I'm gonna say it. I don't care what the backlash is. Ev- there's culture snatchers
hmm
from every culture. I don't care. Black women will do it first, and boom, here goes somebody. Okay, for example, like white women with braids, they can't do that shit. You can't do that.
there are so many people I see on social media who is not Black, isn't any race close to Black, right?
Right.
That would talk down on a Black woman for doing it,
Hmm.
but they do it. And one thing that I always see is when it comes to social media, because I see it a lot on social media, I thought Papa was trying to go, is hair.
Hmm.
Why is it okay? And this, I feel like this is on topic because it's still with social media, right? Once you stop it.
I'm not. Can you stop knocking on the door, please?
Special guest, I hear him in the background. um, why is it okay for the other color, right, to be praised and stuff about their natural hair and loving themselves and this and that. But when a Black woman does it, it's chaos. Why am I not allowed to wear my natural puff or afro or kinky curly hair at to work because it's not professional? But it's okay for Karen, who has wavy hair or something that's a little matted and frizzy, for her to wear her natural hair, but that's professional. You know what I mean? Why is it okay? Now, why is it not okay for me to wear box braids to work? Because that's unprofessional. But let a Karen or somebody else walk in with it and they're, oh, it's so cute. It's so no. And the same thing goes on social media. Why is it being praised when the other race does something, but when a Black person done it who's been doing it, they don't get that same praise?
Right. You, I've always wondered that shit. Like that's annoying as fuck because you know what? And a lot of another thing that I don't like, and this is on social media is you mostly see us tearing us down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we'll get a few guest appearances where different races and different cultures come and they tear us down. But damn, like with one thing that what I would say that I love about social media is the Me Too,
Mm-hmm.
um, everything to do with the LGBT community, that like and the Black Lives Matter, anything that is social, like everything that you're trying to promote that's social, like I feel like that's what social media is for. Like you have all of these people, they come on the platform and they're trying to do it for, like they doing this shit for good.
Hmm.
If social, that's what social media should be for.
Yeah.
The social shit that's making the world better, not for stunning, not for all the other shit. I mean, as far as like, well, music, that's social. Television, that's social. People don't know that, but all of that shit is social. This shit is social.
Hmm.
But just getting on this shit and doing it for bullshit, get your ass off because you're promoting shit that doesn't make sense.
Right. And the other thing with social media, I think too, is when you have people who are promoting stupid shit, whether it's about what the fuck ever stupid shit, race,
Hmm.
sex, gender, everything like that, and they're promoting stupid shit about it. Again, to each is to own. We live in a world, especially if you're in the United States of America. Like
Hmm.
to each is to own. You have freedom of speech, right? But I'm gonna say always you have to be careful on social media because you're let's just say, right?
Hmm.
You have person A over here who, let's say white, right? Because that's a lot, you see a lot of beef with white people and black people, right? This person over here, person A is white, person B is white. Okay.
Hmm.
Person B is following some people who may not particularly care about every other race,
Hmm.
uh, and does stupid shit,
Hmm.
right? Person A, on the other hand, supports, Black Lives Matter and LGBT and stuff. The
Hmm.
thing with social media, I think, is people follow what they see.
Right.
And instead of taking the time to do research or ask questions, you're going to follow said person, right? Who you see posted. Let's say if some big, well known star post some stupid shit about something that's really going on in the world, like Black Lives Matter or LGBTQA or something like that. Them followers, you may have some that's going to be like, well, maybe that wasn't right, but you're going to have a lot who's going to be like, oh yeah, I agree with this and that, when they probably don't, when they probably never done their research, or when they probably have never even asked a question before. And
Right.
again, that goes into, if you're going to be on social media and you have a large platform, use your platform for good.
Right.
I mean, don't sit here and do all this crazy shit when you know you have a lot of people watching you who could potentially do the same thing.
Right. And I do one thing that I really do not like when people get under other people comments and ask, why did you post this? Why are
Right.
you seeing this? First of all, social media is for me. Now, I totally agree. Post what you want to post, but when you post it, make sure you have like some shit behind it. Like if you, for example, with for the Black Lives Matter, it was a lot of people posting for mostly, sometimes for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. Like it was just, yeah, oh, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. It was a lot of people that wasn't serious about it. So they was just posting the post. And once shit started dying down, they just stopped posting. Like it's no longer like it's not consistent. Like you really don't stand behind it. You're only doing it because it's getting you attention.
Yeah, you're only doing it to make yourself look good. But
Right.
you're right. There is no more justice for Breonna Taylor, or what I mean. I feel like the only reason why, but still, even with him, even with George Floyd, you know what I mean. People aren't posting him that much. If they're posting this because of the trial that just happened, but
Hmm.
there is no more of that. You know what I mean. And on one hand, I don't want to assume, because some people may be busy. You know what I mean. Some people may have gotten backlash for supporting the cause, or whatever, right? So that can also.
Okay. For example, DMX just died.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know about DMX's music. People our age, people our age and back then, like people mama age, yeah, they know about DMX. We got young people that's just like, oh hell, who is this DMX dude? It's like, oh, I'm just gonna post RIP. And it's a lot of social influencers that do that shit. Like nobody was in Swiss Beat said this shit. It's a lot of people that wasn't there for DMX, but you came to the funeral, you posting all of this shit, but when bro was down and out, where was you?
Shit, same thing with a lot of stars who passed. Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, Nipsey Hussle is what I was trying to say. Like a lot of these people probably don't even know anything about these people, but because they were some type of big star and they see somebody else posting it, they're gonna
Mhm.
post it so they don't feel left out.
And Nipsey got bigger after he passed.
Yeah,
You have a lot of people jumping on that. Oh, the marathon continues bandwagon. It's a lot of people that jumped on that shit. You
right.
got just it. This shit is annoying. Social media is. I feel like Social media is exactly what it's for. Social, and then
Yeah.
you got a lot of. You have a few leaders and a lot of followers.
Social media is exactly that. And social media will always have its pros and cons to me, but I do feel like it's slowly social media has become one of those things where I could live without.
Right.
I don't
I,
have to be on social media every
you
day.
see, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like as far as music and shit, like I wish we could X this social media shit out because music has now it's depending on your following.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to like nigga if you show up to a record label, my nigga, you gonna have to have some following, a following behind you. Them numbers got to show because it's
Yeah.
business. Back then, shit, 90s, early 2000s, shit, the 80s, the 70s, they ain't have to do all that shit. They helped you do that shit. They
Mm-hmm.
helped you build your audience. You ain't gotta
You,
go
you
and
was
do that shit.
standing outside, going to the record labels and shit with your damn little mixtape or whatever, trying to get it
Exactly.
in there. You didn't just nowadays you could just post it on social media.
Exactly. Shit. All you needed was this man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was some ugly motherfuckers in the goddamn. It still is. So I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just gonna backtrack. I'm gonna take that back. This shit is totally different. Only thing you needed was talent back then. Some specialized talent. That's all you needed. Now you gotta have shit. You gotta have a following. You gotta have look. You gotta have shit. You have to have a persona. Like you can no longer be yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the shit that irks my fucking nerves.
And
I'm
it not only, I'm sorry, go ahead.
say, oh, so okay, well, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be myself throughout this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is one thing, how do you say that shit? Being authentic,
Mm-hmm.
it runs a long way because you will never get tired of being yourself. But when you're fronting and pretending to be somebody else, that shit gets hard. It takes
Mm-hmm.
a toll on you. Like that shit, it gets tiring. And it's just like, damn, I didn't have to pretend to be this person so long that the shit is sickening. I'm sad as fuck. I don't want to get out of my bed.
Mm-hmm.
When I make money, I gotta make it as somebody else, and I can't make it as myself. Bullshit. You gonna know who the fuck Kayleon is when I walk through the fucking door. You gonna know that my mouth is nasty as shit. You gonna know that my attitude is not the best all the time. You gonna know. And I'm portraying that, but I am a positive person. I promote love all the time. I stand on that shit. That's not gonna change. That's what I share. When I post shit on social media, it's life advice. Cause because I know for a fact, I know for a fact that somebody is gonna read it and it's like, oh, that shit helped me.
What?
Okay. Okay, y'all.
We're
We
gonna
gonna
go ahead and cut this
because
one because Kelly
it's
on
getting real,
visiting
real
in the
social in
background.
my background. It's getting
but
real social over
but
here.
before we leave, we do want to thank today's sponsor, which always is Elegantly Melanated. We are currently looking for brand ambassadors. So what you guys can do is send an email to elegantly.melanated1@gmail.com, and we will send you the application and choose from there. Other than that, I will say it. I don't know if you're gonna say it or not. However,
Anchor.
okay, well, Anchor as well. Thanks
Okay.
Anchor for supporting
Thank you,
our
Anchor.
podcast. But this gentleman over here, is releasing new music.
Oh, oh yeah. Forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, you guys. So yeah, I have a single coming out. Nasty is the name of it, and it's a classy nasty. Don't think it's gonna be super duper nasty like that. No, it's classy. It's a classy nasty. We can get nasty, but it's a classy nasty. Stay tuned. If you want to follow me on Instagram at ITS_KALLION, and yeah, just stay up to date, because I got a video coming too with that single. So
be sure to follow him on his Instagram and to stay tuned for that. Be sure to follow Elegantly-melanated.1 on Instagram. Make sure you follow our podcast page on Instagram at Tay and Kay 97, and me on Instagram at _Tajon Charday. That's TAJONCHARDEAU with the underscore in front. As always, I am Tay.
And I am Kay. And thank you for tuning in to our podcast.
See you next time.
See you next time.